let's go ahead and get started on parables. And of course, to lead, I have a quote here on my list of quotes. And again, I just want to clarify, I am just going in order based on how I had written these several years ago and just going down the line. So some of them may, be a little bit weird to pair, but of course, we are good at drawing parallels and seeing the insights that come from both the quote and then into the reading. So for this one, this is the quotes. Multiplication is vexation, division is bad, the rule of three doth puzzle me, and practice drives me mad. And this is by Elizabethan, MS, dated 1570. So this is a very old nursery rhyme type of structure here, talking about math and its confusion. I struggle with math, even though I can kind of figure it out. It just never makes me happy to do so. It's always just a problem. It's always a problem. We talked a little bit about, too, the origins of math and science and how they were actually gifted in a way to the world. And I'm not really going to get into it because it's just a little left field, but math and science were actually brought about by demonic principalities, which is very interesting, and it's a true thing, but it definitely is something that maybe some math lovers or some science lovers won't agree with, but it is true. Not to say that it's a demonic thing, but it's just one of those tools that really advance society in a way. Not to say, that that's a bad thing, but that's just how it happens. So, anywho, let's get into parables, because parables can sometimes be puzzling, but instead of thinking of it from a mathematics standpoint, we're looking at it from a linguistic standpoint. A linguistic standpoint. We'll see if I can talk this evening. I'm not so sure about it. But yeah, puzzles, kind of see the similarities there. Let's try to get my words out this evening. We're going to do Matthew chapter 13, verses 1 through 52. This is Jesus teaching his disciples through parables. And it reads, That same day Jesus went out of the house and sat by the lake. Such large crowds gathered around him that he got into a boat and sat in it, while all the people stood on the shore. Then he told them many things in parables, saying, A farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places, where it did not have as much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched, and they withered because they had no root. Other seeds fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still other seed fell on good soil, where it produced a crop 160 or 30 times what was sown. Whoever has ears, let them hear. The disciples came to him and asked, Why do you speak to the people in parables? He replied, Because the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. This is why I speak to them in parables. Though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand. Let me fix that right there. In them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. You will be ever hearing, but never understanding. You will be ever seeing, but never perceiving. For this people's heart has become calloused. They hardly ever hear with their ears, and they have closed their eyes. Otherwise, they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn, and I would heal them. But blessed are your eyes, because they see, and your ears, because they hear. For truly I tell you, many prophets and righteous people long to see. I don't know if you can hear that, if that's loud, but it just upsets me a little bit. I think it's just the water running through the... I'll start this line again in a second. For truly I tell you, many prophets and righteous people long to see what you see, but did not see it, and to hear what you hear, but did not hear it. Listen then to what the parable of the sower means. When anyone hears the message about the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in the heart. This is the seed that was sown along the path. The seed falling on rocky ground refers to someone who hears the word and receives it with joy. But since they have no root, they last only a short time. When trouble or persecution comes because of the word, they quickly fall away. The seed falling among the thorns refers to someone who hears the word, but the worries of his life and the deceitfulness of wealth choke the word, making it unfruitful. But the seed falling on good soil refers to someone who hears the word and understands it. That is the one who produces a crop, yielding 100, 60, or 30 times what is sown. Jesus told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seeds in his field. But while everyone was sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. When the wheat sprouted and formed heads, the weeds also appeared. The owner's servants came to him and said, "Sir, didn't you sow good seed in your field? Where then did your weeds come from?" "An enemy did this," he replied. The servants asked him, "Do you want us to go and pull them up?" "No," he answered, "because while you are pulling up the weeds, you may uproot the wheat with them, and let both grow together until the harvest. At that time I will tell the harvesters, first collect the weeds and tie them in bundles to be burned, then gather the wheat and bring it into my barn." He told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which man took and planted in his field. Though it is the smallest of all seeds, yet when it grows it is the largest of garden plants, and becomes a tree, so that the birds come and perch in its branches. He told them still another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed it into about 60 pounds of flour until it worked all through the dough. Jesus spoke all these things to the crowd in parables. He did not say anything to them without using a parable. So was fulfilled what was spoken through the prophet. "I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things hidden since the creation of the world." Then he left the crowd and went into the house. His disciples came to him and said, "Explain to us the parable of the weeds in the field." He answered, "The one who sowed the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, and the good seed stands for the people of the kingdom. The weeds are the evil. The weeds are the evil. The weeds are the people of the evil one, and the enemy sows them. Who sows them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the harvesters are the angels. As the weeds are pulled up and burned in the fire, so will it be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will weed out his kingdom, and everything that causes sin, and all who do evil. They will throw them into the blazing furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Whoever has ears, let them hear. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of a great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it. Once again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net that was let down into the lake, and caught all kinds of fish. When it was full, the fishermen pulled it up onto the shore. They sat down and collected the good fish in baskets and threw the bad away. This is how it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come and separate the wicked from the righteous and throw them into the blazing furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Have you understood all these things? Jesus asked. Yes, they replied. He said to them, Therefore, every teacher of the law who has become a disciple in the kingdom of heaven is like the owner of a house, who brings out the storeroom new treasures as well as old. So some wonderful parallels that I do want you to take a second look at and see what they mean. We have some explanations that Jesus had actually explained to his disciples. And once you hear the explanation, you're like, okay, great, that actually makes perfect sense. Sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge to wrap your head around what he is saying, because the kingdom of heaven, as it is an object in itself, it's just micro-objectified in these parables. And this is what I kind of want you to understand, the proportion at which the kingdom of heaven is described, right? It's described as a net in an ocean full of fish, in an ocean full of water. It's described as just the net, right? It's described as a mustard seed, a tiny little seed that of course grows into this big, beautiful tree. But how did it start? So small. So mustard seeds are tiny and delicious, but it started so small. A hidden treasure, right? It's objectified as a treasure found by a rich man, or a man, right? Or it's objectified as a pearl found by a merchant. So it's something that we can concur. It's something that was discovered in a way. The kingdom of heaven was discovered. So it's a little bit different from the earth, where things are a little bit more concrete here. The kingdom of heaven is something that is almost just impossible to describe, but Jesus actually does a really good job of representing heaven and letting people know what heaven is like. It comes from humble beginnings, but is transformed into something that is truly magnificent and truly a treasure, right? Yes, we talked a little bit about, the end of times and how it's really a crazy division that takes place, or sorting of sorts. But we do realize that judgment kind of happens all around us at all times. We just might not be fully aware of it, But yes, the kingdom of heaven is the place to be, is what it sounds like to me. That's what it sounds like. Those with ears will hear. So it's really important to tap in now. Tap in while you can, so you can see, you can perceive, you can hear, perceive, and then also listen with your heart so you can understand and you can feel the passion and the gravity in these words. So it's very, very treasured and important. Once I run out of words, I just ramble at the end. But yeah, this is the parables, objectified in a natural way, besides the net parable. Heaven is also very much objectified, this word, but, mustard seed, people are seen as wheat, we have the pearl, you know how it is. So he draws parallels to nature, because that was the most familiar thing. So maybe if you were to write parables in the style of Jesus, how would you describe your heaven? Maybe using more modern terms. Again, nature is still something we're familiar with and we know, so it still rings true and is still relevant even today when we're reading it. Yeah, that's it, you guys. I would read more, but I might just let this marinate in your hearts. I may just let this marinate and get to tomorrow's topic, which is Jesus' power over nature. And then we're going to talk more about healing and some other things. And yes, I will catch you later. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great evening or morning, whenever you seem to see this. Good night.